This is so fun. Linda and I are in the same room to do this. This is so good. I'm excited to introduce Linda K. Perkes. After 15 years into telecommunications, Linda transferred her skills into the health industry. Now she currently enjoys a 22-year career as a massage therapist. In 2014, she published an inspirational book entitled Jesus is Here, Come Join the Feast. It was released on Kindle and just recently released on Audible as a 10-year anniversary edition in 2025. So after enduring a horrific neurological health challenge for 2 years, Linda found healing for it by using hypnosis therapy. She became trained as a therapist and now offers hypnosis therapy to others. Linda has a passion for teaching, has conducted nearly 700 classes or seminars on various subjects. She and her second husband, Mark, have a posterity totaling 22, including all their children, bonus children, in-laws, and grandchildren.
And a few dogs.
And a few dogs.
I have some grandpuppies.
Grandpuppies, yes. I have a few too. At the age of 50, she took up mountaineering, rock climbing, canyoneering, and ice waterfall climbing. At age 56, she learned backcountry skiing so she could climb California's Mount Shasta to ski down. She summited the nation's second most difficult mountain, the Grand Teton in Wyoming, 3 times, plus Utah's highest mountain, Kings Peak, 3 times. Mount Rainier and Mount Olympus in Washington State are some favorites. She has rock climbed Kingfisher Tower, a 700-foot tall rock spire in the desert near Moab. She completed Lodija in 2005 by cycling through the night. In 2000, she biked a 700-mile tri-state tour. She's been on 5 Ragnar relay teams. She creates and participates in Don't Rush Me triathlons with friends. Good relationships with family, friends, and clientele keep Linda motivated to make a positive difference in the world. She's made a huge difference for me. So, so grateful to know you.
Besties. We've been
are
besties since
26 years.
Yeah,
Yes.
1999.
Yes.
Yeah. The book wouldn't exist if it weren't for you.
Oh, and there's so many things that I can give you credit for. You are listed in several of my books.
Thank you.
Yes. All right, Linda.
Thank you.
You're speaking today on, oh gosh, I know.
Well, the title is Nourished by Grace, How to Access Your Intrinsic Support System. So we'll see how that goes.
Awesome.
A first skill, though, I want to share with you, my friends, is the way that I like to categorize our social relationships. This has been very helpful for me over the years. I'm just going to dive in at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's easy to remember. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I categorize people and put them in the category 5. Those are people who are maybe you'll only see them once ever in your life. The cashier at a grocery store, the server at your restaurant, and how we interact with them is a certain way. We're going to be polite and kind, but it's just going to be a brief interaction. 4s, people you put in the 4 category. Those would be people you see somewhat regularly. Maybe you know their name, maybe you know their spouse's name or children's names, but you wouldn't consider them really friends. You know about them, but you see them frequently, and your interaction with them is going to be a little more friendly, but not exactly. They're not your besties. Okay. 3s, people I categorize in as 3s are those who you want to get to know better. Maybe let's go to lunch. Let's go on a hike together. People in the category 3, they've earned your trust enough that maybe you'll tell them a little bit more about your life, and you trust them with some of your heartfelt dreams and desires, but you're just beginning to get to be friends. And 2s, okay, 2s, they have proven that they are trustworthy. They're going to stand by your side. They know a lot about you. Let's say I'll say I have lots and lots of 2s in my life. 2s would be my husband, my sister, okay, very, very dear best friends. You know, you stay up all night and talk and share your secrets, and you know that they're going to treat your life stories with great respect. Now, ones. Usually we don't have very many ones.
Mhm.
Ones are people, for me, I had a life coach who was my one, and for 15 years in my life, I only had one.
Wow.
Ones know everything about you. They know the blood and the guts, and they are going to keep confidences. And now, people in your life, they could be a 2, and if they break your trust, they might get demoted to a 4.
Mhm.
So you can demote them, and they can earn their way back up to 2. But I found that when I categorize my social relationships this way, it helps me recognize that I don't have to have a million ones in my life to be of value in society. So, do you have any thoughts on that, Christy?
That it is unique. It's like I had definitely years of my life, and I talk about it in Being at Zero,
Yeah.
that I lived in a home with family and they were all 2s. And there was this craving inside of me for a 1 relationship. And I didn't have very many of those. So you do have typically more 2s, I think, than 1s in your life. I agree with that totally.
Yeah, most
And
assuredly.
1s can be very rare.
Very rare.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and with ones, we need to become more vulnerable. So, of course, a person, if you're going to let them be a 1 in your life, they have to have earned ultimate trust.
Yeah.
Ultimate trust.
But sometimes it's almost immediate that you recognize them too.
Yes.
Yeah. Because there's just a field connection, like a knowing.
Yesterday, I interacted with someone, and I think we jumped to 1.5 within 30 minutes of talking to each other. So I agree that it does happen. So
I love that.
Yeah. Well, I want to share a little bit about how the book came to be. I don't even remember the year. It might have been 1997 or so that I was visiting with my grandmother, and I just turned to her. I was at her house in the kitchen. We were doing dishes, and I turned to her and said, "Grandma, do you believe in angels?" And she said, "Oh, yes, dear, I do. In fact, I've seen one." And I said, "Really? Tell me the story." So we left the kitchen, sat down on the couch, and she related this story of how when she was a young child, she believed that she was helped by an angel and literally saw that angel. And I asked her, "Grandma, have you written that story?" She said, "No." Well, it needs to be written. Can I write it for you? So I wrote it as if I were her, and then just kind of kept it. But it was a fun experience. So fun, in fact, that a little bit here and there, I began asking friends who are 2s. So there was a period of time when I had collected enough stories and many of these stories, people were sharing with me, not only had they had an experience with angels or an answer to prayer, but that Jesus Christ himself had ministered to them. And it was really special, and I kept this information super sacred. And then I began wondering, "Heavenly Father, what do you want me to do with this?" And he said, "You're going to write a book." I said, "No, I don't want to write a book."
He said, "No,
that's too hard. I would go, please let me go climb a tall, scary mountain. Don't make me sit still at a computer. No. But with Christy's encouragement, actually, and over the course of 7 years, here a little, there a little, the book came to be and was published in 2014. So what's exciting about this book, it's 25 short stories. There we go.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's 25 short stories, answers to prayer, angelic encounters. But what makes this book more courageous than others of like genre is that 11 of the stories, the individuals have indeed been ministered to by Jesus Christ himself. And I've changed names to protect spiritual privacy. If the person's still alive, some of the individuals have since passed from the time I collected their story. I have ghost written the book, meaning I have written each story as if it was them talking, and they approved it all. This year, in 2015, we did, well, I guess it was December 2024, we released the 10-year anniversary, and I added an extra
it would have been,
special story.
2024.
Yeah, it was December 2024. We added a most amazing, absolutely grand finale of a story called Blizzard Rescue.
Oh, it's a good one.
And it's you really want to enjoy feasting from the stories that are in here. Do you have?
Oh, there's so many good ones. What was fun is getting this out on Audible. I listened to the whole thing on Audible, and it was just a delight to like move through the little, there's always like a little twist or a little, like, you think it's like gonna go bad, and then they call it the secret staircase.
Oh,
I don't know if you know that term.
I don't.
In fiction. So in fiction, when you're led down this path, it's like, oh, it's going to go bad. It's like there's failure on its way. We're going to talk about failure later. How do you get through failure? But it's through a secret staircase. So it shows up in the story as something you did not expect, like you didn't see coming, and all of a sudden there's a way out. And I think that's what's in every one of these stories, is like, it's an angelic moment. One of my favorites, I don't know why, I can picture it, it's the one where the girl is, and she's kind of younger, but she has a little brother who goes to sleep outside.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
That story.
That's probably my favorite story.
Yeah. Is it? Oh,
yes.
Cool.
I don't know if you want to give it a
I wish I could reveal that I am absolutely super close friends with that little girl.
Oh my gosh.
And was friends with her when that happened.
So just to kind of set it up, so I guess has there been like a concern in the neighborhood about a stranger or nothing?
No,
okay, but
no, there had been nothing.
Does it take place? What time?
The title of the story is called Fraidy Cat, I believe.
Fraidy Cat. Okay.
Fraidy Cat.
So it's a girl who's like, she's
afraid of
everything.
Filled with fear and
a lot of anxiety. And she wakes up in the middle of the night anxious about her brother, and knows that her brother's out sleeping, I think on the trampoline or under.
He was out on the deck.
On the deck. Okay.
On the dark side of the house where the light from the street light didn't shine. Oh, I wish. Yeah. People, you're going to want to read that story, Fraidy Cat. It's so incredible.
So it's how does a 10-year-old girl, so this is basically the how, and I'm not going to give away the secret staircase.
Okay, right.
But how does a 10-year-old girl save her brother from an actual adult, probably sociopath, I'm guessing?
Yeah, some kind of
in the dark.
Yes, this. And so I will say that a man was crawling toward her brother with a knife in his hand.
With a knife. Oh my God.
With a knife in his hand.
Yeah.
So
there's a secret staircase. Yeah. Okay.
And it's really great.
It's good.
So I think this leads me into what I want to share about our thinking patterns.
Yes.
Because there are people out there, there's someone in my life who I respect and love and admire, and she is chosen, she does not believe there's a God. And so she said, maybe I'm atheist, maybe I'm agnostic, I don't know. But she said to me, I am the only voice in my own head. So when many in our community, and obviously in America where many are Christians, we like to say, I heard the voice of God. I heard the voice of the Holy Spirit. I heard Jesus. And there are people who want to understand what is this voice I'm hearing in my brain? And they
Yeah.
don't believe that it's a voice from outside of them. And what that, as I've been thinking about it, it's the work of Richard Schwartz. He started in 1990 and began explaining how our brains are not monolithic brains. We are not monobrains. We are multifaceted brains. That doesn't mean that we're all multiple. Oh, there's a difference between being diagnosed multiple and having a multifaceted brain. So let's not be afraid. But
Richard Schwartz is the founder of Internal Family Systems, or
right,
IFS.
correct. Yes.
And I've heard that talked about more and more.
It
the
is.
last few years.
I love his
Even though it's
work.
been around a long time.
It has been around a long time.
Now we're ready.
I think now we are ready. Well, I was introduced to this thinking pattern in 2007, in the fall of 2007, and it helped me greatly. So I'm going to just share how that started and how it helped me. The individual, my life coach, I think I may have explained that for 15 years I had my life coach, and she was my one and only one
during that time. Wow.
She was just a trusted support system for me. And she explained to me that within our psyche, within our minds, we have a kinder, higher, wiser voice. Okay. And then within our psyche, we may have frightened, scared children within our mind, or we might have a saboteur.
Yeah.
We might have a critic. Yeah. I guess for me, I like to think of it as in the theater stage of our mind, we have a director.
Yes.
And we have a cast.
Yeah.
And everybody has a role. We have supporting cast, and then we have those who are maybe the star of the show. But when she began explaining to me that I could begin communicating better with my higher, kinder, wiser self, and Richard Schwartz calls it yourself with a capital S.
Okay.
Then that self, when we invite that self to be the director, the advisor to the other parts, so we're talking within our own mind, we can begin to be a more cohesive team and more whole. Because lots of us feel like we're running around and maybe feel somewhat fragmented, or we feel that I can't accomplish this because a part of us really doesn't want to and will sabotage us. Okay. So that kinder, higher, wiser self, when she began explaining that to me, I saw a woman, I saw her as grandmother age, and I named her Rachel. It just, in my mind, she was, I envisioned an elderly female missionary or mission president's wife. Okay. Yeah. Ultimately kind, ultimately wise, ultimately emotionally stable. And so over the years, when I'd feel like I had emotions welling up or wanting to have an emotional meltdown over something, let's say Christmas isn't quite going right. That was interesting to blend a family in the early, 2003, 4, 5, and navigate stepdaughters and step people and exes and all these little grandchildren. And so I needed a whole lot of inner coaching. And if I could just sit still and quiet, I literally would get out a notebook and say to myself, okay, who needs to talk? So the voice of Rachel would be quiet and would say, who needs to talk? And what would you like to talk about? And I would hear a voice, part of me, say, well, I'm really worried about, this really happened. I'm really worried about that we're not going to have enough wrapping paper to wrap Christmas for all of these people. How am I going to afford enough wrapping paper for all of these Christmas for all of these people? And the kinder, higher, wiser self voice of Rachel could discuss where we'd get the money and how it would work. But again, since 2007, I've been using these skills even in my mountain climbing, even in my endurance events, that maybe a part of me is just done, exhausted. I want to sit down in the middle of this snowy hill and say, I don't have to do this. Why am I doing this? And that kinder, higher voice of Rachel will say, what do you need? Who needs to talk? And a part of me will say, I haven't had enough salt. Can you give me some salt? A part of me might say, I just need to sit here and check my texts for a minute. The mountainside climber tall enough that you get cell service off.
Yeah.
I really did. I sat down in the middle of a snowy hill over Memorial Weekend while climbing Shasta, and I checked my texts.
That's what you needed.
It's what I needed. But the thinking patterns, tell me what you know about the inner saboteur. And
so I talk about archetypes. In fact, around the time we started working on things, I was using that term a lot. And what I know about them is that, well, can I tell a story?
Yes, please. Yes.
So I started, I'm going to go deeper than just the inner, I had a major collapse at one point in time where my autoimmune system had just kind of like gone on the fritz, and I was, I collapsed with an allergic reaction. And when I came to, I had these sensations, it was kind of like body sensations. I ended up writing a book about it because I got to know, like, there was this other person almost that was now part of my field. And I interpreted that as actually a Jewish woman from the World War II era. And I got to know her. Her name's Elizabeth, and I think I renamed her in the book I wrote, but I turned it into fiction because I couldn't really make sense of it in like terms of like, is this real? I don't want to call it a past life or whatnot, but it became a part of me that had to be resolved in order for my relationship to work, because it was like a polarity. My husband at the time was nicknamed Hitler at work. Yeah. Okay. So the irony, I mean, like the extremes,
Perfect.
had to be resolved. Later, I was working with Linda, and she would, every time I go in and get a massage, she'd say, well, let's get you in your body. We'd use salt. We'd use, and that's in my book, 10 Ways, about how important that is to work with my nervous system, get me integrated or get me back in my body. But it was later that I discovered another archetype named Mary from late 1400s. And in the case of Mary, I could see her dress. I could feel her sensory experience when I would jump into, this lake. I would picture Mary jumping into the lake to clean off, I could smell, late 1400s, you can't even describe the smells between sewage and hot fires cooking greasy meat. It was unreal. It was like there was this something very real. But as I integrated that, I went back to Linda, and Linda confirmed, you are more in your body than I have ever seen you be in your body in years. And so there's something to that full integration, whether you call it an archetype, a past life, or a part.
A part,
whatever interpretation you have of that, the necessity is to do the integration work and accept that part and what that part brings you in the way of healing or challenge that really results in healing.
I think one of the a show that to me portrays how parts of us can change and then jump on board is Shrek.
Yeah. That's fun.
Yeah,
or yes, there was Mrs. Shrek. What's her name? Fiona,
yeah,
who has a different self.
So I think if we, at least for me, so I've not experienced individuals in my head, from different
like actual
eras.
Yeah.
but hey, whatever, each of our psyche is different.
Mhm.
For me, I did a lot of work with an inner child who was terrified of XYZ, or an inner child who was had been wounded, emotionally wounded at certain stages. And with each opportunity to sit down with myself and let my higher, kinder, wiser self, named Rachel, mentor, mother, life coach, this other inner part. With each time I did that, there was a greater sense of inner peace. Oh, and I will tell you, it would have been 1984. In 1984, my firstborn son was less than 6 months old, and a very dear friend of mine asked me, "What do you want in life?" And I said to her, "Well, the same thing as everybody wants, a nice home, a happy family, and maybe work that I love, healthy children." I asked her, "Well, what is it you want?" Her name's Cheryl. I hope I may send this to her, but she said, "I want inner peace."
Just that.
And I was
Yep.
23 years old, and I had never, up to that point, heard, "Oh, inner peace? That's something I want to work toward." But it stuck with me forever. And that began the journey. I want inner peace. And as I work with different parts of myself in kind ways, again, there's another little baby step toward inner peace. Now, Richard Swartz will be the first one to say that not everyone can do this on their own. Sometimes it's very helpful to have someone guide you and help you through this process. And the person who guides you and help you doesn't necessarily need to be certified in internal family systems. I did not go to any counselor other than my life coach, but I just did it all on my own. However, as a practicing hypnosis therapist, I can't tell you how exciting it is to help people through the modality of hypnosis to champion their inner parts and to integrate at a time. It's so rewarding when within that person's psyche, again, in this guided visualization that we call hypnosis, their kinder, higher, wiser self will meet their inner child, be that inner child before or 8 or 10. Recently, the person who I was working with, in her mind's eye, got to see a 4-year-old self, or to 8-year-old self, and her 10-year-old self. And it was the 10-year-old self who chose to hold hands with the adult part of her. And together they walked up the stairway and out of hypnosis and into the present time, more integrated.
That's awesome. Yeah. So did you have an exercise for people to do their own little mini experience?
We're going to do a mini experience. Yes. We're not going to do the mini experience. That is integrating a part or meeting your kinder, higher, wiser self at this point in this video. But let's do this experience, okay? I want everyone to imagine. You don't have to close your eyes if you don't want to. You can if you'd like to, but I'd like you to imagine a lemon. A lemon. You're going to open your fridge. Okay, so open the door of your fridge. And if that lemon is in the crisper, open that crisper door and pick up that lemon and feel it. It's cool to the touch, and it has kind of a waxy feeling to it. And hold that lemon up to your nose. And you can close the fridge now if you'd like. And keep that lemon in your hand and experience the crisp, bright, scent. Notice now as you're touching that lemon, there's a little bit of lemon oil on your skin, and it's bright and fresh. Now, walk over to the kitchen counter, take out a cutting board and a knife. Slowly, carefully put all of your attention right on this lemon and slice that lemon. Slice it in half. And let's now take one of those halves and slice off a little slice. And now we have a beautiful round piece of lemon. Notice the juice is running out on the cutting board. And the smell has just intensified. Now, pick up that little slice of lemon that is the tiniest bit and put it in your mouth. Can you taste that lemon? And, okay, how many of you noticed that you were salivating? Did it cause you to salivate?
It was more my nose.
Okay, more your nose.
Yeah, like
Okay.
it really like
She
opened up
she was there, it opened up her
Mhm.
nose. And for me, I salivated as I touched the lemon to my tongue. Guess what, everyone? You were just hypnotized.
Yeah,
That's as
it's true.
easy it is.
That's
That's
true.
easy.
We have
Yes,
power
it
of
is.
our minds
Yes, we do.
through this. That's amazing.
Yes.
Love it.
Okay. Now I want to jump into some information I learned recently. There are studies out there that your brain on awe.
Like as an AWE.
AWE. Yeah, your
Mhm.
brain on awe. Okay, so we humans, when we recognize something beautiful, be it nature, an incredible piece of music, we witness a theater company doing some incredible things, or we hold a baby, we experience awe.
Mhm.
And when
Yeah.
your brain is on awe, it lights up all your good neurochemicals. And
Mhm.
I didn't know this. You probably, because you know everything. I didn't know that dopamine, norepinephrine, serotonin, they're not only neurotransmitters, neurochemicals, they're also hormones.
Yes, some of them are.
So
Yeah.
that I didn't
This is
this
true.
new. But when your brain is on awe, when you experience awe and you cultivate awe, there's a flood of good neurochemicals, endorphins, serotonin, dopamine, and the like. Well, we can cultivate that sense of awe by observing nature, letting something we see. This is all over in the psychology world. Look at something for several seconds, long enough
Mindfulness.
for that beautiful thing to nourish you, right?
Yeah.
Or listen to something with 100% focus, and that beautiful sound nurtures you. Well, a very, very exciting thing that I learned was, again, from this study. These people have been studying, I wish I could remember the guy's name, for over 20 years. And nature brings humans all over the globe to a sense of awe very, very quickly. Okay. Religious experiences can bring us to a sense of awe when we're experiencing that feeling. Again, we have a flood of good neurochemicals / hormones. There's one thing that's higher and greater than nature.
Oh, okay.
Makes me very happy to share. And again, this has been studied and it's all over the globe. When a human observes an act of moral goodness or kindness
Or compassion. Yes.
compassion toward another
Another
human,
human.
by one human toward another human, the sense of awe just jumps. It's even
Beyond
higher than nature.
Even like the Grand Canyon.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
We hiked the Grand
Yeah, we did.
together.
We did do that.
We did. But how cool this, when I learned this, it gave me a lot of hope for humankind.
Yeah.
That humankind values, greatly values kindness,
Mhm.
compassion, moral goodness from one human to another.
Mm.
And now, so I'm going to take that concept that we are observing. We've all done it. Can you think of a time when you've witnessed someone? Oh, I will share a time. I was canyoneering in Arizona, probably in 2013 or 14. And it was after we were done with the canyon, we had a hike from Hades up through cacti, and it was hot and it was horrible. And my daughter was with us, and she doesn't love hiking quite like I do. And I knew that this was a sufferfest. This was a sufferfest. And I didn't even want to be around her because I felt guilty that I had
you'd put her through it.
Put her through this. And what I observed is my darling husband was a new stepdad to her. He hung out with her back there behind the group and talked about anything and everything to keep her mind off of this sufferfest.
Yeah.
I didn't have what it took to stay by her side and lift her to a higher vibration during this hike, but he did. So I witnessed this act of kindness and goodness that even to this day, I mean, that was 11 years ago. Even to this day, I felt really emotional witnessing that act of kindness. And at one point, we were almost done. We were almost back to where we were going to get water and food, and we could sit down in our vehicles. And I turned back and hollered at her, "Hey, how you doing, Heather?" And she goes, "I'm doing so great. This is kind of fun-ish." I was so proud of her because there was nothing about it that was fun. But yeah, can you think of some time
I'm picturing, I want to try to find it, but there's pictures that make the National Geographic or Times Magazine pictures a year, and a lot of them, the firemen carrying the child or the, it's like there's this humanity that's displayed as like a way, it's hope.
It is hope, isn't it? Those small acts of kindness, and the holidays are approaching, and there will be millions of small acts of kindness. So where I want to bring this concept in as it applies to Richard Swartz's work is when your kinder, higher, wiser self on purpose sits down with the sad, scared part of you and shares words of hope or kindness, then within your own psyche, you are witnessing those acts of moral goodness, and you are cultivating a sense of awe in your own brain, and you are on purpose, your body chemicals, neurotransmitters, and hormones will flood your own system with the dopamine, the serotonin, and the endorphins.
That's so cool. I love it.
So, and what I love about my work as a hypnosis therapist is I get to experience this all the time. As a person is in their visualization, they are experiencing beautiful nature, and they are experiencing this focused attention. And often in the hypnosis therapy, we invite in the kinder, higher, wiser self, or I say invite in your highest spiritual advisor, and each person, it may be someone different or
unexpected even, huh?
Yeah.
So tell me, I have a couple questions for you.
Yes.
Do you combine this with massage therapy sometimes?
I have.
You have?
I have.
And you do it alone as just a hypnosis therapy too?
Oh, of course. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And do you do
absolutely.
it online or in person?
Both. I
Both.
can do Zoom
Awesome.
or even a telephone call.
Or telephone. Oh, that's cool.
Because yeah,
You can put
with
it on
the-
speaker and
well, the
relax.
hypnosis, yeah, the
Mhm.
guided visualization / hypnosis. So hypnosis, what is it? It is simply guided visualization with a goal.
Yes.
So yeah,
That's so
I
cool.
think telephone would be great because a person is simply closing their eyes and relaxing, and
Wow.
that would work much better than Zoom.
Yes, for sure.
For sure.
And
But
so we'll have to include those
miracles.
links. when you-
Yes, yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, miracles
Yeah.
happen.
And do you think your own like awareness of these tools is what got you through your really epic journeys? Like when you were about to give up? We want to talk about success and failure too in a minute.
Yes.
Tell us one
there's
of your
no
biggest
question.
successes and that was almost a failure in your
okay, that's
climbing
easy.
and set.
That's easy.
Yes.
2020.
Okay.
So this is August 2020. Now COVID is in full swing.
Mm.
I had already summited the Grand Teton twice, one in 2016, one in 2019, and the lead climbers were both tall, strong young men.
Mm.
Now in 2020, a friend of mine who's older than me, I don't know how much older, but she just said, I wish I could climb the Grand Teton, but I'm on the wait list for the guide services. Back up. When I climbed the Grand Teton, I'd have other people asking, can you take me to the Teton? And I said, no, you can pay a guide service. Because for me, it took years and years of training, not just physical training, but buying gear, experiencing how to work ropes, how to put traditional protection in the rock for safety. And that's just not something I'm going to do. Just take my best friend to climb the Grand Teton. No, it's way more. There's just too much involved. So I say, no, get a guide service. The guide service is called 𝐬𝐿M. Well, this friend just said, I would like to climb the Grand Teton, but I'm on a wait list for the guide service. And before I could even breathe, what came out of my mouth, I'll take you. So I knew that was from a higher source. And then I began talking to that higher source. No. What? No, don't make me do this. This higher source, I'm going to say the Holy Spirit, because that's my belief system, kept telling me all the reasons why I could do it. Well, you could do it this way. If you do it this way, you do this. And I became the lead climber for a group of 3 other women. So we climbed the Grand Teton. We camped at the base camp, slept overnight. Our goal was to awake at 3:30 a.m. and be hiking by 4 a.m. One of the women, the one who had the most training next to me, was sick, really sick. She was throwing up. And so then I say a prayer, what do we do? And I heard, wait for her. Gave her some medicine. We all went back to sleep, decided to start hiking at 6:30. Now we're 3 hours behind schedule. Fast forward, we reached the summit. You're usually supposed to summit between noon and 2 or 3, never later than 3. We reached the summit about 6:30 p.m.
No.
Yeah. Which is dangerous. Yeah. Well, it was August, so it wasn't getting dark, but that said, as we began descending the mountain, now we're in the dark because you've got to rappel off a couple of places. It takes a long time to hook up the rappel, on the Grand Teton. If if you don't do the rappel correctly, you fall 4,000 feet to your death.
Yeah, it's not good.
So we, we're so it gets darker and darker. As it's getting darker, and we're heading down, and I'm looking, watching the lights below, thinking we're heading toward the 𝐬𝐿M huts, which are at about 12,000 feet. The Grand Teton's 13,777. 13,777, something.
Oh,
like
cool.
that. Yeah. Anyway, it's now about 9 o'clock at night. It's pretty dark. And I say, everyone stop. That rock fin that we see right here, that's on our right, it's supposed to be on our left. We are not in the right couloir.
Oh no.
And I said,
Mm.
we stop. We're basically lost. We're not lost. I know that I know we need to be on the other side of this fin, but it's dark. And I said, we're done. So we sit down and hunker down for the night. And the woman who asked me to take her, she said, oh, I'm so excited. I've always wanted an adventure like this. So we're going to spend the night at 12,500 feet with no tents, no sleeping bags.
You're not
right.
prepped for night.
No.
Oh my gosh.
No. And when we were preparing for the summit, everyone was saying, what should I take to the summit? And I said, you take everything you brought in your backpack. Of course, not your tent, your sleeping bag, but we had coats, hats, gloves. So that was great. We had food, we had water. And so we sit down, and I loved her. Kathy is her name, her first name. So I'll just say she was so cute. We had the best attitude. I've always wanted an adventure.
Oh my gosh.
I call the ranger station because, again, we're high enough that we have cell services coming out of Jackson Hole. And I said to them, there are 4 women here that we're spending the night on the mountain. We have food, we have water, we have clothing. I just want you to know that you don't need to come searching for us. And the ranger asked me to turn my phone off and then call him, turn it back on, save battery, and then call him every few hours to tell how we were doing. And we huddled we curled up like puppies on this cliff and spent the night. So fast forward in the morning, and it's just now getting light, and now I can see where we are, because I knew at 9:30 at night we couldn't descend. We'd fall off a cliff.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're near cliffs. So we start ascending. It took us an hour and a half to
go back up.
Back up. I know. I was grumpy.
Yeah.
I was grumpy. I'm tired. We spent the night on the mountain. We didn't sleep. But we ascended. We got in the correct cooler and started descending down. Well, as we were nearing base camp, which is now at about 10,000 feet, the ranger who I'd spoken with the night before was walking up the trail. And he said, I was supposed to be on a different mountain in a different canyon today, but I asked my supervisors if I could come. I wanted to meet you people. And so he and I sat down on the trail there, and I said to him, he said, it looks like you have been mountaineering before, yes. And I said, that's why I'm so embarrassed that we got lost. I'm so embarrassed. And he said, don't be, I've done the same thing, the very same thing. But what was really cool is he said, I wanted to meet the 4 women who never once, and I was the one on the phone, he said, never once did I detect a moment of fear in your voice. Not once did I detect anything other than you completely were in control. You got this. And he said, I can't tell you in my years as a ranger how many people I talked to who are maybe lost or spending the night. He said one woman was just screaming hysterically for the whole 6 hours while it was night. And so I would say that was a situation that could have gone very wrong, but it turned out to be a glowing success. And all of us we made it off the mountain safe, and we have a grand story to tell.
And it's a story.
Yeah. Pun intended, grand story.
Grand story. There you go. And we're going to finish with the song.
Oh, good. Yes, we are. Okay. So I learned this cute little song, and I love this little ditty song. And I learned it, I think, 40 years ago or so. And so do you feel comfortable singing it with me?
I'm going to try.
Okay.
I'll do my best.
Okay. It's a song that I will sing over and over and over in my head. In fact, I taught this song to a kindergarten teacher, and she taught it to her kindergarten children. She's now in heaven. She's an angel.
Oh, sweet.
But So I hope that you will enjoy this song, and it's a great way to keep yourself going when you need to give yourself some motivation. Okay. I don't care about the number of times I fail. I count the number of times I succeed, and the number of times I succeed is in direct proportion to the number of times I failed. But keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. I will succeed if I keep trying. Keep trying, keep trying. I will succeed if I keep trying. So then you can take this little song, and at the time I learned it, I had a lot of young children in my home, and my house was cluttery, and I put in there, I don't care about the number of times I fail to keep clutter picked up. I count the number of times I succeed, keep the clutter picked up. And the number of times I succeed is in direct proportion to the number of times I fail, but keep trying. Okay? Have some fun with that and reach out to me. I'd love to be a one for you.
Oh,
I would.
yes,
Let's be
that's
ones.
beautiful. Let's be ones.
And I
Yes.
hope soon, and we'll have a link on there to my website. My website is www.talesfromthesummit.com. And
You have more Tales from the Summit.
I have
And you're doing podcasting stuff?
soon.
Yes.
Soon.
Oh, cool.
That is
I love your tales.
the next step in
I could see
my
it being a book.
life is a podcast, Tales from the
Yes.
Summit. Okay.
Awesome.
Love you.
Thanks. Love you. Love you too.